So fine. So you are able to see the board, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anyway, so last class, we have started looking, you followed, right, this buckling of shells. Okay. So now, we have seen like how the buckling happens when there is axial loads, axial compression. Okay. So how the buckling happens, then we also see, I think, external pressure. Okay, so essentially this is a very important thing for the pipelines. Okay, and we have seen thin cylindrical shells, and then torsional load also. Okay, so one is, I think, nx, another one was ny, and other one was nxy. Okay, so we have solved many problems here. Okay, so three simple cases we have seen. So now on all the problems, we have assumed the solution actually. Okay, that is a w we have assumed, and then we try to solve this for the buckling loads for all these three problems. Okay, so now so this is what we have done here, but here the most important thing what we assumed here was, or what is the main problem in shells is that buckling loads. Okay, it is little bit complex. Okay, so you don't have any a closed form kind of a thing, so it depends on m and beta or m and n. Okay, and they are linked in a complex fashion. So they appear in the numerator, they appear in the denominator, so it becomes very difficult. Okay, so what value of m, what value of n will give you the buckling load. So in shells what you have to do is, so for a particular problem, say once the length of the shell is known, radius, thickness, Young's modulus, all these things are known, so you substitute in that equation, then you have to do a minimization. Okay, so you plot for various values of m and n, say, so plot this buckling load. Okay, so for various values of m and n, so you can plot a two-dimensional graph, and then wherever what is the lowest m and n, say, sir, what is the m and n which gives you the lowest load, so you have to do it numerically only. Okay, so this is the most important thing we have seen. So if you remember, I think when we discussed, I think that first case, that is external pressure. So what was the buckling mode? Have you remember the first problem? That is shell under external pressure. So when we had this type of things, so what value of m and n gave? You remember? So m was the 1, but n was, I think, 8 or something we got. Okay, so in circumferential direction, say, so we will get 8 the waves kind of a thing. But when we solved this axial loaded cylinder, say, so it was like that elephant foot or whatever I showed you, the taxi, the buckling mode was something like this. Okay, so then when it is a torsion, say, that is nxy, so the buckling mode will be in the spiral direction, so you will see waves like this. Okay, so this also happens. Okay, so this way we can solve many problems. So you can try for many things. Now some problems, what happens is see, in all the cases we have assumed that the ends are simply supported. Okay, so this is a very important thing here. So we have assumed the ends are simply supported, which means the w was dou square w by dou x square, so it was 0 at x is equal to 0 on L. So this is what we have assumed. Okay, so based on it, we assumed as w is equal to some sine m pi x by L. Okay, then sine beta pi y by L. So this is what we have assumed the solution. But if you see the basic fundamental equations in shells, say, so we had three equations actually, one for u, one for v, another one for w. Three equations was there, but these three were coupled, the PDEs we had. Okay, so what we did was we these three say, because they are all interlinked among one another, so what we did was we substituted we eliminated u and v, and we wrote one equation only in terms of w, but we got eighth order equation actually. Okay, so this is how we derived our equations. So now when you assume that the edges are simply supported, say, so this is our w, say. Okay, now what happens to u and v? Okay, So what will be the u and v, the boundary conditions, what you are imposing on u and v. So this is a very, the important thing. Okay, so anyway we are neglecting u and v, we are eliminating u and v and solved w, but finally we are having three displacements. So here sometimes the boundary conditions say for w will be different, some problems say u and v may be different here. But if we enforce that it is simply supported and assume that w is c1 sine m pi x by l and c1 sine beta pi by l, so what will be u and v will be interesting actually. Okay, so what type of condition on previous derived the equations for u, v, w and all those things. So if we substitute say, so this w in those equations, so we are assuming that w is already known to you. Now you find out u and v actually. Okay, so the u turns out to be some a1 cos m pi x by l. Okay, then sine beta pi y by l. So this is how the u comes for simply supported case. So this one comes sine m pi x by l. Okay, then cos beta pi y by l. Okay, so these are the u and v, assuming w is simply supported. So if you see these expressions carefully, so you have cos and then we have both the terms are there, cos, sine, cos, all those things. So which means when you say it is simply supported, say for a w, it means saying that so your dou u by dou x, okay, and v, this is 0 at x is equal to 0 and l. So these are the boundary conditions for simply supported for w. So if w is simply supported, say, okay, so if you are assuming that w, the boundary condition for w is like this, it is almost you are imposing, you followed right this boundary condition. So you are assuming that slope of u and then the v. So these are 0 set, x is equal to 0 and l. So there may be some problems say, so where you have the boundary conditions different for u, v and w. Okay, suppose if you want a different boundary conditions are there, then you cannot solve that 8th order equation. Okay, so you have to go back and you have to solve you see the three coupled the PDEs. Okay, so these three you have to solve coupled the PDEs has to be solved, no 8th order. So we had all our the 4th order equations. So one was the u, we had one equation was there, then we had a equation for v, then we had the equation for w. Okay, so if you remember those equations say, okay, so let us just quickly write these equations we wrote in our previous class itself. So these are the equations. So you have to use these equations, dou square u by dou x square minus mu dou w by dou x. So we had of course mu by r. Okay, so plus 1 minus mu by 2. So dou u by dou y square plus 1 plus mu by 2 say. So dou v by dou square v by dou x dou y is equal to 0. So we had three such equations. So 1 minus mu by 2. Okay, so dou square v by dou x square plus 1 plus mu by 2. Okay, so dou square u by dou x dou y plus dou square v by dou y square minus 1 by r. So dou w by dou y is equal to 0, and of course we had a 4th order equation, del to the power of 4 w say minus this constant c. Okay, so dou v by dou y minus w by r plus mu, so dou u by dou x. Okay, and of course you can include all the other terms, nx, ny and all other things if you include, or that px, py, all those things we wrote. If you include all the different boundary conditions for u, v, w, so this has to be solved. So please remember, so whatever we have solved in the last class, the examples are something. So we have assumed simply supported. So simply supported means this we assumed them to be 0 and we assumed this as the solution. Okay, so this is perfectly valid. But the problem here is because if you do anything on W, say, automatically, you know, it translates to U and V, because we are assuming that all of them are interlinked, and we have solved only the equation for W itself. Okay. So since if W is simply supported, say, U and V may not be simply supported. See, for U, the slope is 0, but U is not 0, but V is 0, but its slope is not, you know, the 0 kind of a thing. So if we have like a boundary conditions, all U, V, W, all of them have to be simply supported, then you know, you can't use this 8th order equation. So you have to use the 4th order or the coupled, you know, the PDE. So this you have to solve. Okay. So this is a very, you know, the important thing which you should remember. So then, you know, you have to write, you see, the solutions as, you know, some un of x is here. Okay. So cos you know, beta pi y by L. Okay. So this is anyway in the circumferential direction. So depending on the problem. Okay. So you have to write, you know, you don't know what type of boundary condition you are going to put on u, v and this one. So sine beta y by L. Okay. So then w, say, is wn of x, you know, so cos you see beta pi y by L. Okay. So something like this. Okay. And then you know, you solve for you know, un, then vn, wn, say. So then the boundary condition, you see, we are relaxing. Okay. There with respect to x, but the problem is, you know, so it will be very complicated. Okay. So 3, you know, coupled PDEs, and then you followed, right, the closed form solution, you know, it will be very difficult. Okay. So you may have to solve you know, very difficult. So you may not be able to, you know, represent also, like, you know, PE is equal to something like that. You know, it becomes extremely, you know, complicated, you know, very complex. Okay. So easy thing is, you know, you have to do it numerically only. So sometimes what happens in shells, you know, instead of doing you know, this type of complications, so people you know, use this numerical methods, FEM and other things, you know, to solve, you know, the shell problems, because closed form solutions becomes extremely complex. Okay. So this is a problem with the shell theory. But anyway, the initial things are fine to just have a feeling, okay, how the analytical solutions looks like. Okay. And now let us see this, you know, the post buckling failure. So we have seen for a plate. Okay. Now let us see for a shell. Just for clarify, you know, for our understanding, whether shell will have any post buckling strength. Shell plate we have seen, right? You have, it has a post buckling strength for a plate. Why plate has a post buckling strength? Any one of you remember? Previous class, you know, we discussed. See why a plate has a post buckling strength.
So due to the tensile stress generated in the other direction.
Excellent. Okay. And and where the maximum stress will be in a plate after post buckling, say, at the center of the
Near
plate
the
stress,
edges.
near the edges. Okay. And because of the tensile, it has post buckling. Now shell, what is your comment, whether shell after buckling it will support load or it is gone? Plate is you know, you can still use, but what happens to shell? Just before we do, what is your guess?
Sir, as the shell is already, sir, a curved structure, so it is very unlikely to have.
Excellent. Okay, so it is very unlikely. Okay, so shell will not have any post buckling strength. Okay, but why this post buckling behavior is very important? The reason is you followed, right? Suppose if you want to shells with you know, imperfections. Okay, already, you know, you cannot see in the during when they construct shells, you know, right? Shell structure construction is very difficult. You know, it's not like you know, ordinary, you understand, structures. See many shell structures, you know, because a lot of skills are involved, you know, in shells, because you have to make a curvature nicely and you have to do perfect. See many shell structures when they constructed, say, they collapsed also. You know, many shell structures, but you know, 2-3 times you followed, right, then you know, they got this perfect shells. So if there are some small imperfections are there in the shells, say, that's it, you know, the buckling load you followed, right, it goes down like you know, anything actually. So let us see the shell imperfections, you know, anyway, already the shell is imperfected means, you know, it is already bucket. So your W will have, so already, you know, W is not 0 kind of a thing. You have already some initial deflection is there. Okay, so now what happens to this? There is imperfections. What happens? Of course, this is already related to post buckling behavior also, because once the shell has buckled, say, it means it has already some imperfections actual. Okay, some small in the circumferential direction, or axis symmetry kind of a thing. Already, or spiral for torsional load. Already the shell has buckled, which means it is a imperfection shell. Now how much load it carries, or what will be its the behavior, just to have a feeling, that's all. Okay, as we discussed, shells are no, they will not be able to carry any load more than this itself. Okay, so just if you want to see this one, so if you want to see this imperfections, then whatever theory we did it previously, you have to add some the extra things actual. Okay, so because your strains say, so we have assumed the epsilon x as simply dou u by dou x kind of a thing. Now it is no more. Okay, so you have to do this dou u by dou x plus half you see dou w by dou x whole square. Then you remember for plate also we derived that the deflection curvature was there, you remember, dou square w by dou x square. So all those things you have to do, and epsilon y was dou v by dou y minus w by r. So this was linear the shell theory. Now for post buckling or imperfection shells, say, so then the higher order terms also you have to include actually. Okay, by whole square. Then this curvature, say, dou square w by dou y square. See, as already I told you, shell equations, plate equations, Donald's, all are same. Only thing is in plates, say, we had x, y, z as the Cartesian, but here x is along length, y is along the circumferential coordinate. Other things are all same. That is how we did. So gamma x, y, say. So dou u by dou y, plus dou v by dou x. Only we wrote for the previous linear theory. Now you have to include dou w by dou x, dou w by dou y, and then this curvature will come kxy also. So minus dou square w by dou x dou y. So all these terms have to be included in the calculations. Okay, so the equations becomes little bit you follow, right, complex kind of a thing, but we can write the equations like this. We will not go into great the detail, so we will just write our the equations now. So our equations you followed, right, they will be like this. One second. So our basic equations is there. Okay, so something like this. So so you have our basic whatever shell equations are there. So you write compatibility also. You remember how do we did for a plate? So same thing, compatibility, we have to write in terms of, you see, the strains. So dou square epsilon x by, you see, dou y square plus dou square epsilon y by dou x square minus dou square gamma x y, say, by dou x dou y. We are right in terms of stress. So dou n, so nx actually. Okay, so nx is so dou square f by, you see, dou y square, then ny, say. Okay, so dou square f by dou x square and nxy. If you write as minus dou square f by dou x dou y, it satisfies all the equations are there. The first equation, second equation, it satisfies. So if you can write epsilon x is we already wrote 1 by eh. Okay, so nx minus mu into ny, you have to substitute actually. Okay, so in the same fashion, so 1 by eh, then dou square f by s dou y square minus mu dou square f by dou x square. So like that, epsilon x, epsilon y, use everything, you write all the equations in terms of f. Okay, so and then you eliminate, so there is no u and v, so u and v are eliminated. So we are writing everything in terms of stress function, that is f, and we have the w, say. So our equation will be so d, the compatibility equation, and then this one. So this is equilibrium. Okay, so dou square f by, you see, dou y square. So we have dou square w by dou x square minus 2 dou square f by, you see, dou x dou y, and then dou square w, say, by dou x dou y plus dou square f by, you see, dou x square So we have 1 by r plus dou square w say by using dou y square. So this is equal to p. So this was the equilibrium equation you get, and the compatibility say. From the compatibility also we get one more equation. Same like whatever we did for plate, same thing we are doing here also. So for f, okay, minus is equal to eh into, so dou square w by dou x dou y, okay, whole square. So minus dou square w by dou x square, and then dou square w by dou y square, minus 1 by r dou square w by dou x square. Okay, so these are the two equations. One is a compatibility, and other one is a the equation of equilibrium. So we have written in terms of this stress function, that is f, and then this double d. Okay, so now for a imperfected, so these are the equations you have to solve if you want to find out this post buckling behavior. Okay, so now here what to do is we assume that the shell has already buckled. Okay, some small imperfection is there, say, so that means your deflection is w plus wy. So this is the imperfection, or the shell is already some type of buckling is there. Okay, so both are same, like an imperfection as well as post buckling behavior kind of a thing. So now if w is equal to w plus wy say, okay, so then what happens, so this equation and this equation has to be modified. So you have to incorporate so w plus this is wi. So you can write this expression as the first equation, say minus dou square f say by dou y square. Okay, so in this expression, so we have here dou square w by dou x square. So now w is w plus wi is there. Okay, so this becomes dou square w by dou x square plus dou square wi say by dou x square. Okay, so minus similarly 2 times say dou square f by dou x dou y. Okay, and now what is the equation? We have dou square w by dou x dou y. So now w is w plus wi. So you have the two terms will be there here. So dou square say by dou x square w say, okay, I by dou x dou y we have. Now similarly say you substitute other one also. So we get so dou square f by dou x square. So 1 by r plus dou square w by dou y square plus dou square wi, okay, by dou y square is equal to p. So this is how the equations have to be modified for a shell with imperfection, or it is maybe you followed, right, you have this already buckled post buckling also. Now even the strain displacement relations is there. So if you have epsilon x, so already we wrote dou u by dou x plus we have half dou w by dou x, so you see whole square. So here also you have to incorporate so dou w by dou x, then dou wi by dou x. So all these the strain displacements also we have some extra terms have to be incorporated. So we have dou w by dou y, and then dou wi say by using dou y. So all those expressions have to be incorporated. So even for shear strain say, so we have the old expression plus we have some additional terms. So dou wi by dou x, then dou w by dou y plus so dou w by dou x, okay, and then dou wi by dou y. So like that we have some extra terms which comes into picture. So now you have to write the compatibility equations. So here for a post buckling behavior it will be slightly different because of w and wi. So this equation, so this equation is perfectly fine, but this equation which we wrote previously for the perfect shell, so this is not valid because now we are having wi also. So these epsilon x, epsilon y and all those things, so you substitute in this compatibility equations including wi, so you get a big the equation for another equation you have, so which is slightly complicated. So del to the power of 4 this one, so eh, okay, so dou square w by dou x dou y whole square plus 2 times say dou square wi by dou x dou y, okay, and then dou square w say by dou x dou y. So minus so dou square w by dou x square and then dou square w by dou y square minus dou square wi by dou x square, and then dou square w set by dou y square. You can see all terms are there. Dou square w by dou x square and dou square wi by dou y square minus 1 by r. So dou square w set by dou x square. So this is a very big, the expression comes because we are having, this imperfections also. So due to this, you followed it. The compatibility will be slightly different here. So now, to solve the problem, simply, we use w c by a, and then sine you see pi y by you see a. Okay, just we are assuming for just a cylindrical shell. If you take a small portion, say, okay, small portion in the shell, which is the circumferential coordinate is also a. Okay, this is also a, just for simplicity. Okay, it's a small portion, a small piece we have taken it, and let us say it is subjected to this type of compression, say. So small the cylindrical shell, and y anyway is our circumferential coordinate, and of course x is along the this direction, and of course z is downward towards the radius. Okay, so now let us say this is some px into h, say. So now double, and let us say simply supported. So deflection can be written like this, the imperfection. Okay, so the imperfection also we write as some ci sine pi x by a, then sine pi y by a itself. Okay, just for simplicity, imperfection is also more or less like your sine wave itself. So now so you substitute in these expressions, so you have to solve for c and then this ci. Okay, and of course your f contains, it is not a homogeneous part. Then you have this particular integral. I hope you remember how did we solve for a plate. You remember, right? So homogeneous solution, we wrote some hpx by 2 into y square because of that one. Then the total solution, we can write the particular integral based on these solutions and others. So you can get f. Okay, from this one as some eh, so some small c square, then 2 c times ci. Okay, so by 32 cos of 2 pi x by a plus sine of 2 pi y by a. Okay, so plus we have other thing also. So eh into some small c into a square by 4r pi square sine pi x by a sine pi y by a minus h into px by 2 into y square. So you get some big expressions for the f. Okay, so now our problem is we have to find out these coefficients also, c, ci, and then the buckling load. Okay, px also we have. Okay, so all these things have to be found out in plates. You remember how did we found out this coefficient? How did we found out the coefficient in plates? Anybody tell us? Remember what method we used in plates for the post buckling behavior?
Galerkin method.
Yes, excellent. Okay, so because direct solutions, if they are not possible, say the easiest way is Galerkin. And what's the basic philosophy in Galerkin method? See, Galerkin method works.
The shape.
So now
Error and the basis function
are orthogonal to each other. So now you know f actual. How did we got this f? We got this f from compatibility. You followed. Now what is our equation of equilibrium? Our equation of equilibrium is not compatibility. Our equation of equilibrium is this expression. You followed, right? So now what our Galerkin method says is, now you know f, you also know w also. So you substitute in this equation, say. So if you have assumed correct f, correct w, then error automatically will be 0. But since we have done some approximation, so Galerkin method is, so this whatever error comes, it should be to your function. Basis functions. Okay, so dx dy, so this has to be equated to 0. Okay, so L of c is nothing but your the PD, that is the equation of equilibrium. Okay, So you can solve by this Galerkin, okay? And because closed form solutions are not possible, you cannot directly solve the PDEs. So this is an easy way actually, okay? So now you substitute and then you solve for all those things. So if all big algebra is there, we will skip all those things. So if I define say some variables, so px as some px into a square by eh square, some non-dimensional variable, some k as a square by h times r, then delta I is some c by h, and then delta I say is ci by h. Okay, so if I define these non-dimensional the variables, okay, so p bar x, so the buckling say, so the load will be you can write this as pi square by 3 into 1 minus mu square plus k square by 4 pi square plus pi square by 8. Okay, so del square plus 3 times delta I, okay, plus 2 times delta I square minus so 4k by pi square 5 by 6 times delta plus delta I, okay, multiplied by delta plus delta I. So it is a highly complex expression we get. So this is the buckling, the pressure here, okay, because we are talking about this pressure here. So now this is the equation you get. So now to first of all verify this equation say. So if you plot, you remember post buckling behavior also, we plotted this px bar, okay, and your deflection is delta plus delta I, which comes from the this post buckling already imperfect shell or this itself say. So if you try to plot this, and let us say for the time being say we assume k as 0 or r is the infinity. So when r is equal to infinity, what happens to shell now? So yeah, we have taken a small shell like this, a small cylindrical shell, a piece actually. So when r is infinity say, so what happens to your shell? So we are having a shell
It
like
becomes
this.
plate.
It becomes a plate. Okay, so now we are just trying to verify. See, already in plate, how did we derive in post buckling behavior in a plate? We didn't assume any the imperfection. We solved the that nonlinear equilibrium equations. We got the solution. Here we have done it in a slightly different fashion to just verify whether we are going in the right direction or not. So r is equal to infinity you take, and delta I is 0 also. So if delta I is 0 means what does it tells you? There is no imperfections at all. So if you try to plot say p bar x versus delta plus delta I, so you get the behavior like this actually. Okay, so delta is I is equal to 0. So the equation will be like that. You remember for plate post buckling behavior, how did we derive? You remember previously the graph. See, up to buckling say what happens, the deflection will be 0. Once it starts buckling, you followed it, it went like this, the load versus deflection. So here also you get the same you followed, right, the thing for plate also. Now if it is a small imperfection is there say, a very small imperfection in the plate also, so you take r is equal to infinity, but delta I is not 0, some small imperfection say, then it goes something like this. Okay, so so this curve say it goes something like this. Okay, so this is for some delta I is 0.05. Now suppose if it is 0.5 say, okay, so some large so the deflection curve say it goes something like this, some 0.2. Now what is your observation? So plate has some small imperfections say. What is whether any imperfection? Suppose I am having a plate, already the plate has some imperfection. Okay, so whether it is going to the post buckling load is going to change. Now post buckling, see I have a plate. If the plate is already curved actually, which means some small imperfection is there in my plate. And if I still do this buckling, say what is happening here after buckling also, what is happening? It's post buckling strength is increased or decreased. Now what is the comment here? So slight decrease only, but how after this is our buckling you followed, right? So now what is happening once the plate, you are having a curved plate, okay, and already curved plate means already there is an imperfection, and you have applied load on a curved plate. still the plate can take the load itself. Okay, still it has a post buckling. Of course it has slightly decreased, because if the imperfection is large, say, then obviously you followed, right, this will be less, but compared to zero kind of a thing, but still it has the post buckling you followed, right, the strength is there for a the plates itself. Okay, so it's a very the important observation. Or sometimes what people say is imperfection insensitive. You followed insensitive also. So if there is a small imperfection in plates, so it doesn't make any difference. Okay, because that it is still, it will, of course the load carrying will be slightly lower, but still it carries strength after post buckling also. So these sometimes imperfection insensitive also, plates are like this, they say. So in plates, if there is a small imperfections also, you don't need to worry. It is not a plate if there is imperfection, it is some kind of a shell itself, but it is no, not this thing. And now let us see for shells. Okay, now r is not infinity. Okay, r has some value. Okay, so then k is not 0, you followed, right? So now if you try to plot this graph, say, so delta plus delta I. Okay, so the graph looks something like this. So it goes like this. So this is for imperfection is 0. Okay, so for a shell, so automatically once the plate has buckled, say, that's it. The graph for plate, it was going like this, increasing kind of a thing. Now for shell, just gives up. Suppose if it has more this one, say, so then you see it just gives up actually. So this imperfection is 0.2. Okay, so anyway, this is how the shells behave. So once a shell has buckled means that's it actually. Okay, so automatically you followed, right? So it will just gives up, and then so this is, they say, and if there is imperfections are there, so then once again you followed, right, it gives up this one. So sometimes imperfection sensitive case, they say. These are just sometimes the use in shells actually. So for shells, if there is imperfection, then gone case. Okay, so it doesn't it gives up, and the load also comes down, and there is no post buckling strength. So once the shell has buckled means it cannot carry, you followed, right, any more load. So you have to dismantle, and then you followed, right, you may have to cast a new structure itself. And if there is a small imperfections, so imperfections are there means just gone. So this whatever equation we derived, it is not only for post buckling. That equation is valid even for when there is a small imperfection. So in plates, if it's in shells also, if we have imperfections, okay. So you see that this was the original when there was no imperfection, say, the buckling load was here actually. But now when there is imperfections, what is the buckling load? Here itself, you followed, right? The plate is that's it. The shell is going to buckle, and almost suppose if this is some this is something in between 20 and 15, say, this load. So for imperfection, this one, it automatically it will be less than 10 actually. You followed, so this load will be less than 10, so almost half actually. So if there is a small imperfection, the load carrying capacity of the shell will be decreased by, you followed, right, half, or many things are there. And this is only theory, but in practice what they try to say is, if there is an imperfection shell, say, so whatever the load it will for 30% only it can carry, it seems. Okay, so it decreases the capacity. That's why the shells, you see, collapses when there is a small imperfection itself. Okay, so fine. So these how the shell theory, you see, you can study these shell elements. Now if you want to do it in more details, this whatever we have done is a Donald's equation. So they are not y is along circumferential coordinate, and you can do. So if you want to study, if you want to get more closed form solutions which are much more realistic, or which are very very close to the practical situations, so then you have to do it in curvilinear coordinates. Okay, so this is a coordinate system you have to do. So curvilinear coordinate system, you have to follow. And then I hope all of this curvilinear coordinates. Okay, so these are it's a very complicated coordinate system. Okay, So you have to do, the position vectors, x direction, y direction, and sx, sy, all those things comes into picture. Anyway, we are not going to discuss in this course, because that will go into another kind of a thing. So I think there is another course, I think theory of plates and shells. I don't know whether they teach this. I hope they do this curvilinear coordinate system. So how to write the shell equations, the nonlinear equilibrium equations, that you can solve, and then you may get very good solutions which are very close to the reality. Okay, so you can try. So that is anyway, around our course, I think this is not required, because for this to do, we have to do a whole shell theory itself. Okay, so we are not going to do this thing. So nonlinear equilibrium, if you solve, say, then you can do much better. Okay, and curvilinear coordinates are required. See, suppose if you are doing for spherical shells, say, what happens? A sphere, whatever we derived was a cylindrical shells, but if it is a spherical shell, you follow, right? Conical shells, these type of complex things are there. Say, our Donald's equations are not valid, so you have to go for this coordinate systems itself. Okay, so anyway, this is out of our the scope of our this course itself. So with this, our almost you see, we have completed our the stability. Okay, the static stability. Okay, so this almost we have come to a end. Okay, so to just summarize, say, so we have done columns. Okay, then we have done beam columns, but all are static loads. Okay, be careful, we have not done any dynamics or anything like that. So beam columns we have done, then we have done these frames. Okay, then I think what is that we have done? Columns, beam columns, and frames we have covered. Then I think we came to lateral torsional buckling. Torsional, this one we have seen. Then torsional buckling also we have seen. I think I forgot. Okay, torsion also we have seen. Lateral torsion also we have seen. Then we discussed I think the plates. Then you followed, right, the shells actually. So if you see the Chedge's textbooks, almost we have covered, I think all the chapters until now. Of course, we, as already I told you, this course is only analysis course. We will not do any design actually. Okay, so if you want to design in any way you followed, right, you derive a formula and then use the code book itself. So this we have almost completed. Okay, all the chapters, if you see, we have almost covered this Chedge's book. Okay, so now we have to do some more. The next topic, the last topic in this course is this dynamic stability. This we will discuss in brief. Okay, so when there are dynamic loads, what happens to our stability? So this is a very important thing. Okay, so so when there is a dynamic load system, so whatever theory you have studied is fine, or you have to modify some of the terms, or what happens in the dynamics theory. Okay, can anybody tell me, when the load is dynamic, say, now what happens? So I have a same the simply supported column. Okay, now P is not P is the P of T. Now what will happen? What happen? What interesting things you will what interesting patterns you will observe, or what is the extra things you have to take care? Now tell me, what extra things you are going to observe in buckling? Now load is a function of time. So whatever you have studied is fine, or you have to do something extra. So what happens when you are having a load is a function of time?
Sir, as the load will vary, sir, there will be peak in load and then there will be a depression also. Sometimes it will be maximum and minimum. So
now
that's going to.
So positive negative means it is compression tension, no? See, P is positive means if you take positive as compression, so the other one will be tension kind of a thing. So tension means no need to worry about buckling, right? So buckling is required. So no need to do any this thing then. What is
the tension will have also a positive effect, means it will have a reverse effect over the compression load also.
So now what is your comment, whether we have to study or not? We can ignore.
We have to study, sir.
And then why? You only telling no tension will is fine, then why we have to do this then? What is another important thing? See, people have done structural dynamics, no, the course. So from now this dynamic stability, you should have background in dynamics also. Okay, in dynamics, what is that you have studied the most important concept in structural dynamics?
Resonance and all.
Excellent, resonance. But anyway, before resonance comes, what is the most important? The quantity which natural frequency. You followed, right? So this itself is a very important parameter. Of course, natural frequency and damping also will be there. Anyway, damping you followed it. That's a viscoelastic you followed. That's a material property. But the most important thing in dynamics is W. That is the natural frequency. Okay. And now I think you told resonance. Now here what happens? Tell me whether there is a chance of resonance here. When there is a dynamic stability. Or what is the resonance here? It means
when the frequency of the system matches with the natural frequency of vibration.
So for a column anyway, you know the natural frequency, and the P of T, if the matches, resonance will come. But we are talking about dynamic stability. See, what do you mean by static? When we told static stability, say, okay, in static stability, how many loads are possible? See, in the static case, what was the buckling loads? How did we get the buckling load? We solved eigenvalue that sine, kx is equal to 0, and then we had how many buckling loads was there? How many?
One only.
No, several was there mathematically, but we took the lowest load. Okay, you took the lowest load. That is how we have done. So here also, that's what I told. No, stability is a very important mathematical problem. The problem is linear, but solutions are many. You followed, right? That is a specialty of buckling. You remember the starting class I told you. So linear problem means you assume there is only one solution, but it is a buckling is a different case. You have multiple solutions, but anyway design we take only the lowest load. That's a different issue. Okay, but mathematically it is linear several solutions. So now here also, so now when resonance comes into picture here, so here what happens is, because you can have a variety of buckling loads are possible actually. Okay, so here you will see the component of is the parametric resonance actually. So here all there is this new concept you have to understand. Okay, so this comes into picture. You don't resonance is fine, but here when there is a stability problem, you have a parametric resonance which is much more dangerous than the resonance actually. This is a very important thing. See now resonance, you remember in single degree of freedom system how the solution grows. Can you the solution how it grows, x versus times at a resonance. So that is a natural frequency same as the load also. Okay, how the solution can you remember? So for the system, so the load, whatever the load natural frequency is same as the system natural frequency. Say how x will be as a function of time, how it grows the solution. Anybody remember? In dynamics you would have done when omega is equal to same as omega r. What will be the x? How the response looks like at resonance? How at resonance what happens?
Sir, it will we having a sine wave with exponential growth.
Exponential growth or linear growth? You have to be very careful. See, if you solve the differential equation, say, obviously it has to grow, it has to go towards infinity only. So the solution will be like this. You can see any dynamics textbook actually. Okay, the solution grows like this, but it will not be exponential. It will be linear growth will be there. You followed? So this is how what happens in the resonance. So the amplitudes, they linearly increase with respect to time. You can see the textbooks. Okay, so when omega is equal to omega d say, and if you try to plot the solution, of course the solution grows actually. Okay, exponential is like this, but the amplitudes will grow linear increase. So this happens at resonance. Okay, but now in stability problems, say, apart from resonance, we have what we call as the parametric resonance. Okay, so I will show you some examples also. We will see. Okay, so now at resonance, what happens? See, this is a resonance, linear growth. But now in parametric resonance, which is very dangerous, which comes only in buckling. Okay, so here what happens is the solution will be like this actually. Okay, so the solution, say, you followed, it will be exponent. I'm not able to draw properly. Okay, so you can, so the amplitudes essentially they grow exponentially. Okay, so if you see the solution, it goes something like this. You followed. So like this it happens, exponential growth will be there. So this one says, so this is what happens in parametric resonance. So this is a basic in a resonance. Time, if it is at resonance at for if omega say both of them are same at for 1 second, say, there is nothing will happen, because only the oscillations will keep on increasing, but because it is only for 1 second, so it will be fine. But if it is at parametric resonance, say, so the amplitudes increase exponentially. So which is more dangerous, resonance or parametric? This one. Resonance is dangerous or parametric is more dangerous?
Parametric.
Parametric things will be you followed it much more the dangerous kind of a thing. So this happens in buckling. Okay, so that is essentially in the dynamic stability. So in dynamic stability, what happens is so this is one extra parameter which we have to study. Okay, so you should if you are designing any systems subjected to this type of loads, you should see that it escapes this parametric resonance. It should not stay at parametric resonance for even short periods of time. Otherwise amplitudes will be exponential and you see gone case only. So this is one very important thing. And other thing is the flutter. Okay, so this also where right, damping is a very good thing. Okay, but here what happens is the damping becomes negative, and here also exponential growth will come. So these are the two important things what happens when the load becomes dynamic. Okay, so anyway, so I will stop here. So next class we will derive our see some simple the dynamic stability problems. Okay, applications. So fine, I think tomorrow is a holiday, right?